What's going on, guys? Chip here. Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG video, and today we have the finals of the recent League Cup in High Point, North Carolina, and on the left we have yours truly, Chip Richey, 601, playing in the finals, and across from me we have Grant Manley, who is joining me to commentate this finals match. How's it going, Grant?
Hey.
So I am playing the Yveltal Garbodor deck with a couple of Fright Knight Yveltals as well. And Grant, as we saw earlier in his top 8 match, is playing Mewtwo with no Garbodors, no Espeons, just straight up 4-4 Mega Mewtwo. So we get this game underway. I start a Fright Knight Yveltal on the left, and Grant starts a Mewtwo EX on the right. And it looks like Grant's going first.
And Fright Knight's super important in this matchup because it shuts off my Spirit Link, so I need a Lysander or Hexmaniac to evolve with the Spirit Link without ending my turn.
Yeah, this is definitely a matchup where Garbodor would be really nice if you had it on your side of the field, but unfortunately decided not to play that today.
Yep.
So going into this match, what were you kind of thinking here on your first turn? Like, what were you trying to get set up here? Did you want to get Wobbuffet or anything out, or what was your thought process?
I don't think I need Wobbuffet. Starting with Wobbuffet's great, but I only played one, so I'm not expecting to start with it. Playing 4 Mewtwo is definitely better starting with one of those than a Hoopa or a Shaman because obviously the float zone gets shut off. And I wanted to Sycamore into, ideally, if I got really lucky and I Sycamore into a Spirit Link Hex Mega, that would be ideal. But I wasn't really expecting
for the next
that.
turn. Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been great. And I'm just joking around with Chip the whole time, and he doesn't seem, he just like wants to focus on winning this League Cup, and I'm just like, let's just like joke around. This is fun.
Yeah, no, Grant and I are good friends. You know, we joke around a lot and have a good time. But, you know, the finals of a cup, I kind of want to take it a little seriously if I can. So I get an Ultra Ball for another Fright Knight Yveltal, getting that down on the bench, and attach a DCE and just play an N. So I wanted to definitely have a couple of Fright Knights here in this matchup. Getting damage onto Mewtwo's, both the active and the one on the bench, early in the game can definitely be very important. In this matchup, Mega Mewtwo will easily hit for one-hit knockouts on my Yveltals, and I cannot easily return one-hit knockouts unless I have already gotten some damage on them from a Pitch Black Spear.
Yeah, and I think maybe Yveltal EX would be okay to get with Ultra Ball, but also if he only has Fright Knights on the board, then that removes some of my outs for Lysandering away the Fright Knight to be able to use Spirit Link, so that way if he only has Fright Knights, I can't Lysander. I have to draw a Hex Spirit Link Mega in order to normally evolve.
Yep, so I go ahead and play this Trainer's Mail here. I see an Ultra Ball and an N. Looks like I'm going to take the Ultra Ball, and I have an Ultra Ball in my hand as well. So we'll see if I end up deciding to go back in with that. I may hold that till the next turn, be content passing here. But I definitely will want to use that to get an Yveltal EX in the next couple turns, I would think. And
yeah, and I didn't want to bench anything just to avoid, just to limit the effectiveness of Pitch Black Spear.
I think I went ahead and decided to play this Max Elixir. I think my thought process here was if he does get off a Lysander onto this Yveltal and I have no energies on it, then I'm going to be stuck without attacking for another turn. So by getting an energy on it, if he Lysanders it, I can still find a double colorless and attack on the next turn. So after that Max Elixir, it was funny enough too, I played the Trainer's Mail, saw 2 Yveltal EXs, shuffled the deck, and then played the Max Elixir, saw 2 Yveltal EXs once again. Just funny how that happens sometimes. And I think here at this point I should be content passing. So on Grant's turn here, he does have a Mega in his hand. He of course cannot Mega Evolve with a Spirit Link because of that Fright Knight ability in the active spot. But you may just be content ending your turn with a Mega Evolution here.
I drew 2 Trainer's Mails, and I was like, okay, so if both these Trainer's Mails get me a Link and a Hex, that would be fantastic. But that would still have to be pretty lucky, so I didn't end up hitting the first one, so I knew, okay, I won't be able to attack this turn with a Mega.
Yeah, if you had been able to pull off that play and clear my only, real threat on the board, I guess, that would have definitely not been good. So, see another Trainer's Mail here. You are considering what to take. You have an Ultra Ball in your hand. You're considering taking a second Ultra Ball, maybe just to discard with the other Ultra Ball you have.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing too powerful off that.
Yeah, so you can use an Ultra Ball here to potentially get another Mewtwo, a Hoopa EX or something like that, but if you do that, that means that that's a place I can place damage on the bench with the Pitch Black Spear. So you're content Mega Evolving, which it means I could potentially have taken a knockout here, but I would have had to hit a lot of stuff for that to happen. So I wasn't even going to go for that play. I'm just going to go ahead and play this Ultra Ball. Probably grab an Eviltall EX here. Yep, sure enough. So I will get off a Pitch Black Spear on this turn, which is nice, and get some damage on this Mewtwo, making it easier for my Eviltall EX to come in later and take a knockout with an Evil Ball.
Yep, and keeping the Fright Knight in effect as long as possible is super good against Mewtwo, especially, like Chip said, I didn't run Garbodor for this tournament. I think no Garbodor can be a meta call, like in an open field. I think no Garbodor is fine, but there was obviously this Eviltall deck in finals. There was lots of Vespiquen decks around, so Garbodor definitely would have been a good play in this tournament. Mm-hmm. But in my top 8 match, I was glad that I didn't have Garbodor because it made my deck a lot less clunky in the mirror. Yep. So it can go both ways, really. It depends on the matchup.
So I decided to bench the Trubbish there. My reasoning behind it, I want to have my... Garbodor is not necessarily the best in this matchup, but my reasoning behind potentially getting it out here would be after this turn, next couple turns most likely, Fright Knight won't be as effective once you get another Mega out, so if I can turn on Garbodor then and you haven't played your Shaymin EXs, that can potentially leave you with less draw outs later in the game.
Right.
So that was my thought process of getting down the Trubbish with the Floatstone there.
Yeah.
And then it also gives me an option to free retreat my... my Fright Knights if I put a Floatstone on them later on.
I discard Hooba because Hooba's a huge liability. I know all too well from playing this matchup on both sides that Hooba sometimes just is a massive liability from Lysander and residual Pitch Black Spear damage.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, your only switching option in this deck is Floatstone, besides energies to retreat?
I only play 2 Floatstone.
So if he did bench the Hoopa, if I was able to Lysander it, he would have to commit a DCE to retreat that at some point. So you do go ahead and get down a Mega Mewtwo the Mega Mewtwo from last turn, but you get down another Mewtwo EX with a DCE on it.
Because I don't need any more energies to shot that Pitch Black Spear.
Yeah, it is definitely very easy for you to take a knockout onto that Fright Knight Eviltall.
And I had to bench the Eviltall or the Mewtwo because I know it makes him do more damage overall with Pitch Black Spear, but I couldn't risk the Eviltall EX taking a knockout on my only Pokemon.
So here, this is actually a play that we've talked about a little bit. You disagree with me going in here with the Fright Knight Eviltall, but I have a DC in my hand. So my thinking behind this was by using Pitch Black Spear, I get some damage on the benched Mewtwo, making it easier for my Eviltall EX to come in and take a knockout later on in the game. But you were saying that at this point, you're already on the odd prizes. It might be better for me to try to attack with the Eviltall EX.
The thing that I was thinking is that you're kind of tossing the DCE, leaving yourself with no backup, and it's like it's your second double colorless energy. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and either way, I already had one energy on the Eviltall, so if I attach the DCE to the Eviltall EX there, and then I miss a Max Elixir on this side of the N, like if I don't draw one, or if I do hit one and don't hit the energy off the Elixir, then I wouldn't be able to attack at all this turn. So I figure I'd take the guaranteed attack here. Go ahead and get damage on the benched Mewtwo, put 120 on the active. You're not going to be able to damage change anything for a knockout besides the Trubbish, and that really wouldn't do that much good for you anyway, so... and unfortunately, the only stadiums I play are parallel cities of my own, so being locked to 3 means I won't be able to, unless you replace the stadium, I'm going to be locked at 3 for the rest of this game.
Yeah, that was a good parallel city that I drew very early.
Yeah, you got that down on the very first turn, I think.
So now you can't bench another Eviltall EX.
Which I definitely would like to have here. I ended up benching the Eviltall with the Fright Knight ability on the other end of the end, just so I didn't draw it. And I think right here I'm switching out a Broken Sleeve or something like that, but you're doing your turn right now. If you had a Lysander, you could potentially get the Mega Evolution off, but...
Yeah, I'd rather clear the energies.
Right, exactly. I don't have any energies in play right now besides what's on the active. So you've got a couple Ultra Balls. You have some options to work with. You could maybe use that to grab a Shaymin EX to set up. You have an N in your hand as well. But we'll see what you do. Maybe thinking about the N. Do go ahead and decide to play the N. And you'll get 5 cards off of this, and I will get 6. And you already have enough energies, of course, to knock out the Fright Knight Eviltall. I knew this was going to go down immediately whenever I attached to it, but...
I think I was just digging for maybe another energy on my backup Mewtwo.
Yeah, which is fine. You could have just Mega Evolved and left. Like, if you Mega Evolve there, you leave my...
I have to clear it.
Yeah, if you Mega Evolve there, then that means I just get more damage off on the bench Mewtwo, and you don't want to do that.
You to hit a Max Elixir.
Right. So, off this end, get 6 cards, you get 5. Let's see what else you have. Maybe you do get another energy, so you put 4 energies on your benched Mewtwo EX, and a Shaman setup for 3 cards.
At this point, I figured you weren't going to attack with Pitch Black Spear anymore. Like, maybe you could, but you couldn't twice. Like, I figured you won't attack 2 more times with Pitch Black Spear, so the Shaman was fine.
Yeah. So, here on my turn...
Yeah. And I was just going to say also... may as well play it now before the Gardevoir comes out.
Yeah. So here on my turn, I actually top-decked the Max Elixir in order to get this attack off, and it was the 6th card hitting that energy, so...
That was clutch.
I did... That Max Elixir was extremely clutch, otherwise I might not have been able to get an attack off this turn. I do have a double colorless energy in my hand, and due to the 120 damage that Mewtwo has on it from the early Pitch Black Spears, Evil Ball will be able to take a knockout, and if I get a Fighting Fury Belt, I can actually take a knockout with Y-Cyclone.
Y-Cyclone will kill anyway.
Oh yeah, I don't even need a Fury Belt, yeah.
Which, Y-Cyclone is definitely very, very good in this matchup, conserving your energies and making my Psychic Infinity do a lot less damage.
Makes it much more difficult for you to take a one-hit knockout on an Yveltal.
Right.
But if I get the Fury Belt, that makes it even harder for you to take that knockout, so I do get the DCE down. I've got those 2 Parallel Cities in my hand that, of course, I cannot play. I've got a VS Seeker.
Only 2, right? Parallels.
Yeah, I do only play the 2. So here, I think I'm considering playing a Lysander. I could knock out the Mewtwo on the back. I think I actually, when I play the VS Seeker, I showed that that's what I'm debating, between Lysandering the Mewtwo and just playing like an N or a Sycamore. But I think I end up going with the N, and I think that's okay. If I had Lysandered and taken out the Mewtwo, I would have left myself with no energy in play, and you can knock out my Yveltal pretty easily from there. I think I would have rather Sycamored that turn, but I don't think I had a Sycamore in my discard pile.
Yeah, you definitely would have rather Sycamore, but sometimes you just don't have it in the discard.
Yeah. So, what do you think there in that position? Would you have played the Lysander when I didn't?
No, I wouldn't have, because it leaves you with a dead hand.
Yeah, I would have been relying on.
But,
I would have been relying on taking a supporter or something off of the prizes potentially.
Yeah, it's always scary leaving yourself with like a really, really weak hand like that,
and no other energies in play. So, I definitely thought playing in was the safer play here. I do draw into Fighting Fury Belt, which is really nice. It'll make it a lot harder for that backup Mewtwo to take a knockout. I do go ahead and get the Garbodor out. Fright Knight's no longer going to be a factor, and it keeps you from being able to draw with Shamans and stuff. So, do get the Yveltal to come up, and I think we just see a Y-Cyclone here. I think the decision here for me is which energy to bring back, and I decide to do the DC, it looks like, which I think is fine.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
And so, take my 2 prizes, and you bring up your Mewtwo.
And I need to find 2 more energies to knock that out.
And,
Or just a straight up Lysander with Mega.
And now the Fright Knight Yveltal's ability, of course, is no longer in play, so you can finally Mega Evolve without having to end your turn, which is definitely very nice. Getting to do what your deck is supposed to do.
Yep, definitely want to find some sort of KO on this turn.
So, yeah, either, like you said, 2 energies will allow you to knock out the Yveltal EX in the active, or if you just get a Lysander, you can knock out the one on the bench. Oh, you do get the 2 energies and a Sycamore here, it looks like. Maybe go for an N, but no, you do decide to Sycamore, which I think is the correct play there.
Yeah, I totally want to find a backup Mewtwo. I'm not sure if I did there.
Looks like you drew, 3 Mewtwo Spirit Links in that hand. I remember this moment.
That's not good. So I did get a massive Psychic Infinity for knockout, which is nice, but then your Evil Ball can easily knock me out.
You no longer have, if I get a knockout this turn, you have, it'll take you another turn after this one to even be able to attack, most likely.
I like the Sky Return, but my doubles, they're kind of gone.
Yeah. They're all on, 3 of them on this Mewtwo, and 1 of them went down with the first Mewtwo.
Right.
So I play a Trainer's Mail there, likely looking for something like a Max Elixir, maybe a Fighting Fury Belt. So I think there's 60 damage, meaning you have 150 HP left, meaning I need 7 energies between us plus a Fighting Fury Belt, so just a Dark Energy would do it. And let's see if I hit it. I've got 2 elixirs in my hand, but I didn't draw into a dark energy, so I need one of these elixirs to hit in order to attack. And luckily, I do hit on that very first one. I would also like an Eviltal EX here. Looks like I have one in my hand, so that is definitely really good. And if I can elixir onto the second Eviltal EX and go ahead and have energies ready to go on it, that would be ideal, I think. So let's see. Yep, I do bench it,
Nice.
and Max Elixir comes down, and there's 3 dark energies, 4 dark energies right there.
4 darks and a DCE, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, Chip. Thanks for sharing. But you had a very thin deck and lots of energy.
I still had a lot of energies left, so
that's fair to hit. There's virtually no way to whiff the knockout on that turn.
I probably shouldn't have shown you the hand, though, because that also gives you information that I do have my last DCE in the deck. But like we said earlier, we're good friends. You know, we joke around and mess with each other
I showed
a lot.
you the 3 Spirit Links.
Right.
So, hey, don't envy this turn, because I've got 3 Spirit Links.
So I do get the Evil Ball KO onto the Mewtwo. You promote your only Pokemon, which is the Shaymin EX, and I think your top deck was that Mewtwo.
Yeah, the very next card was the Mewtwo, which is, I mean, that's okay for me. It's better late than never.
So here comes an Ultra Ball here, it looks like. Getting rid of those Spirit Links that you just don't want to draw at this point anymore.
Spirit Links are completely dead at this point in the game.
So you're checking my discard here. What resources you think you checking for at this point?
Probably Lysanders.
Yeah.
Via Seekers. I'm not completely sure.
My out to win the game on the next turn is going to be, if you don't Sky Return, which you can't since all your DCEs are gone, my out to win the game on the next turn is going to be Lysander on Shaymin EX plus an energy attachment. So if I can do that, I can win the game, but I do think I'm down a couple of VS Seekers, so I do have a decent-sized hand. You see the Lysander sitting there in my hand.
You have 1 Lysander and 1 VS Seeker left.
So
and
you...
Wobbuffet turns off... Well, Parallel City turns off Shaymin anyway, I guess.
Right, yeah. I can't draw with Shaymin, of course, because of the Parallel City.
Guard, Wob, Parallel City.
Shaymin is not a factor at all. So, but this is actually going to be really obnoxious for me to try to deal with. You retreating this... you do end up retreating this Shaymin, if I remember correctly, into the Wobbuffet, forcing me to take the odd prizes, which I definitely don't want to do. And yeah, you're just going to end. So that's definitely a good end. And I think we had a card... That must have fallen out whenever I was shuffling your deck earlier, so...
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I think we figured out that it was from when I was shuffling your deck. So
I don't think I had actually played any Psychic Energy.
Yeah, that was the joke that I made at that point, because this Psychic Energy on your Shaymin is the first Psychic Energy that's come into play this game. So it had to have come from your deck or your hand, and you played an in, so it just gets shuffled back in.
Or I may have discarded one with Ultra Ball at some point. But
yeah, that's true.
I just attached 4 DCs. That game is like...
Yeah, first time a Psychic comes into play and it's on a Shaymin, it's never going to attack with it. So off this end, we're going to get 2 cards apiece.
I could have tried to attach the energy to the Mewtwo and banked on getting a Floatstone, because I don't think I've played a Floatstone, but I'm pretty sure just
off of 2 cards, that's pretty risky. This is definitely the safer play.
Yep.
And probably the correct play. So looks like you just retreat and pass. And I think you drew a energy and a Mega Turbo, so you don't really have anything going on over there. But I don't think I drew particularly well off of this end either. Of course, all I need is a Lysander plus an energy will give me the game. I have the energy and a Shaymin, but due to Garbodor, Parallel City, and Wobbuffet, like we'd established earlier, I cannot play the Shaymin. So I'm just debating here where I need to attach this energy. Does it go in the active? Does it go on the benched Eviltal? If I attach it to the active, I can take a knockout on your Wobbuffet, but I don't know what good that would really do me. I'm considering just Evil Balling or Y-Cycloning and leaving the Eviltal in the leaving the Wobbuffet in the active spot so that it's harder for you. It forces you to find a Floatstone to retreat it.
Right. Leaving a Eviltal with that many energies is kind of risky, considering I haven't played very many Mega Turbos yet, so there's a chance that I could power up a Mega in 1 turn.
Yeah, so I think I definitely should, but all your DCEs are gone, so it would be kind of hard. I'm doing some math here. I think it would be pretty hard for you to pull off a play like that, but it's definitely possible. I think the correct play here is to just Y-Cyclone, force you to find a Floatstone. And that's the play I'm debating. It takes me a while to make this decision. If I do Evil Ball and you are able to, you can definitely just win the game this turn. And I do decide to Evil Ball. So if you can find, I think you top deck a VS Seeker here.
That's my classic line. That's a good top deck. And Chip gets really annoyed every time I say, that's a good top deck.
Grant does say that pretty often when we're playing games. But,
like, I have to discard a Mega Turbo, but discarding that top deck is fine.
So you do have a top deck of a VS Seeker here. You have an energy in your hand. So if you attach the Psychic Energy...
I have to find a lot, but I could find the win on
well,
this turn.
it seems like a lot, but you need a Mega and then 2 Mega Turbos, and you win the game.
Exactly. And
So
I think I have 2 or 3 remaining in my deck.
Half of a 7-card Sycamore and a pretty thin deck. The odds are not that low that you could hit it. So we'll see what happens here.
I think pressuring me with the Eviltal was maybe correct, but risky.
Yeah, it was very risky. That is for sure. But hey, you don't win games by just taking it easy.
7th card Mega Mewtwo.
So you do get the Mega. You get 1 Mega Turbo.
Not
I'm just
quite enough.
really hoping that we don't see the 3rd one.
And then I hit him for a lot of damage,
but not enough damage.
Puts a lot of pressure on him.
So
Floatstone.
you're just gonna go ahead and bench that to clear it out of your hand.
And the moment of truth.
I think all I need is an energy, right?
20, 40, 60.
No, it's clean. I need a Lysander.
You need a lot of energy, so you need a Lysander, which you top deck. And I got so tilted because your hand was dead. And I just got tilted, but it was a really good game. It was close, back and forth.
Yeah, my deck was like, I had a decent amount of cards, but I still had VS Seeker plus Trainer's Mail, so I still had outs to it. But
3 out of
I had 2 turns to hit a Lysander as well. So,
well, I don't know. I could have just like Lysander that Eviltal or something, because I had 2 prizes left.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep, so definitely a very close game 1, came right down to the wire. So going into game 2, and you got to go first that game, and so you get to go first again this game. Are there any adjustments you think you want to make going into game 2?
I'm shaking my head.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, it definitely does happen though. Like, it's a game of odds. Yeah. Sometimes you just get the Lysander when you need it.
I think that matchup went pretty well on both sides. We both drew fine. I don't know if there's anything.
No adjustments you want to make. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Fright Night Eviltal definitely playing a big factor for me earlier in that game, making it so I can take those first 4 prizes fairly easily with my Eviltal EXs. And
I think the one turning point was maybe when I missed the backup Mewtwo that one turn.
Mm-hmm. That definitely did make a difference.
We were both drawing pretty hot, so it's just like whoever misses a beat, it was close.
Yeah, we both drew fine. I don't think there was really any dead drawing at any point in the game, so... we're getting shuffled up. We're getting ready for game number 2. This is, of course, the finals of the. I almost said city championship of the League Cup in High Point, North Carolina. Winner of this gets 50 points, and 50 points closer towards Worlds. This would actually be both of our second wins, so we both definitely want to win this cup. And to max out our the most points we could get at League Cups this quarter. Looks like I started an Eviltal EX, and I think you started your 1 copy of Wobbuffet, so that is a very good starter for you.
It was interesting. My only draw was Ultra Ball for Shaman in hand, and starting Wobbuffet turns that off, so I wasn't 100% sure that was correct. I think it was fine. It slows you down. It forces you to have a Sycamore, basically, because N helps me out. You can Ultra Ball for Shaman, and I have a Mega, so I don't know. Yeah, and I have turns. It doesn't matter if you.
You do have a few turns to get.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm still like iffy on that play.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing that you didn't have any draw outs. I think I would have liked to have seen you start the Damage Change Mewtwo as opposed to the Wobbuffet. Of course, like you said, Wobbuffet slows me down a lot, but
if you don't have the Sycamore,
and it looks like I do just have a draw supporter in my hand, so. Get a Floatstone down onto the Fright Night. Just, I'm going to go ahead and play it so better than Sycamore and get away. And let's see what else I have. I think I have Ultra Balls and stuff, so I could definitely get out another Eviltal, maybe a Fright Night, maybe an Eviltal EX. But nope, just decide to pass onto your turn. You get a Mega, it looks like. And so you just see a Hex and a Mega Evolve. So at this point, I'm really thinking your hand is probably pretty dead. Which I think leads to what I decided to do here on this turn. Thinking you just have no draw supporters or anything like that. To be honest, I don't think I really considered the fact that you couldn't play your Ultra Balls and stuff. I didn't consider that you might have that in your hand. So off this Trainer's Mail, I see a VS Seeker. And I think since I was assuming that you were drawing pretty poorly here, I grabbed the VS Seeker. And I'm wanting to play the Lysander here to put a little pressure on and start getting some damage off on this Mewtwo EX.
Yeah, that's a fine play because attacking into Wobbuffet gets you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Mewtwo is actually a valid target.
And also, like, I'm never going to one-hit KO a Mega Mewtwo, so going ahead and getting this damage off could be very important.
Right. And once again, I got the turn 1 parallel in the correct direction, so that was good for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to play an Ultra Ball here, get rid of a Trubbish and a Floatstone, I think, maybe. I couldn't tell what that other card was. And I'm going to grab an Evoltal EX and just go ahead and bench it. Just checking my deck here, seeing what resources I have left. So, yeah, on this turn, I think I do decide to Lysander the Mega Mewtwo, and by hitting you with a Y-Cyclone, it'll make it very difficult for you to take a knockout, and it also helps me to conserve some of those energies that we were talking about earlier.
And I think...
And getting that other Fury Belt was definitely very good.
Yeah, Fury Belt's really good. And I think part of the thing about Parallel is, like, after... I knew he ran Kukui and Olympia, so that he probably doesn't run Delinquent, so he probably that Parallel is going to stay there the whole game unless I change it with that Shrine.
Yeah.
So that was useful. And then now I can play Shaman. I mean, I know I kind of left myself with a poor hand for a couple turns, but playing reactive in this matchup behind Wob is fine as long as I can always go off with Ultra Ball. So, yeah.
So now you get that turn of going off with Ultra Ball here.
And again, I don't want to bench Hoopa.
Definitely can become a large liability, so just going to grab a Shaman EX. You did get another baby Mewtwo, which is definitely good to see.
Yeah, there's no real need to get Hoopa either. So.
Yeah, since you have another Mewtwo already. So, Shaman EX will help bail you out of this hand that really wasn't getting you much of anything, and we'll see what you're able to do. I don't think you want to go for a knockout here on this Evoltal, maybe just getting some damage on it. You would need to attach 6 energies.
There's no way I can get
So that would be a DCE plus all 4 of your Mega Turbos to take a knockout, which...
Also, I'm playing kind of fast. I'm like throwing my cards down, but I'm not salty or anything. Well, I'm not salty yet anyway. So that's just sort of how I play.
Yeah. So just playing quickly here, trying to get stuff done. So we see a Sycamore. Looks like you discarded a Mega Turbo. Maybe some other important resources there, but you know, you play so many Mega Turbos, you're definitely going to have to discard some of them in unfavorable situations at some point.
It's okay.
Yeah, definitely okay. So it looks like we just see a Psychic Infinity here hitting for 100 damage, just getting some damage off on that Evoltal. I do hit on this Max Elixir, which is very nice. And this turn, I do play an N. I'll be looking for either a Darkness Energy or a DCE. If I do get a DCE, that would allow me to take a knockout here.
Right. Otherwise, you have to retreat into the other one
right.
and take a knockout.
So I definitely hitting a DCE would be very ideal. 100. No, actually, I just need. Hang on, I'm bad. I have to count this so many times.
You need a DCE.
Yeah, I do need a DCE. A Dark Energy would leave me 20 damage short. Having a DCE would be the perfect math.
Yeah, so. Playing either of these decks requires a lot of counting and thinking.
So
managing energies correctly. So you get the dark, so you have to retreat into the other one if you want to take a knockout. Which you definitely do want to take a knockout, I'm sure. 40, 60, 80, 100, yeah.
No, it is perfect math.
What?
No, we got it right. Yeah, it's fine. I was hitting for 110. It had 100 on it from a Y-Cyclone earlier. Since I had a Fury Belt.
Is that a belt?
Yeah, I had a belt on it.
My bad. I thought that was a Floatstone. Okay.
So, yeah.
Sorry.
We got it figured out.
I thought that was a Floatstone.
Yeah. So, it did just need the Dark Energy. Had a lot left in deck, so pretty easy to hit that there. Yeah. You can easily return the knockout here, but I have another Evoltal EX totally ready to go on the bench, so I'm totally fine with my position here.
And here I'm just hoping he doesn't have another Lysander. Have a Wild, let me evolve twice.
Yeah.
And don't Lysander, please.
So, yeah, I do probably... I have a pretty large hand, so it's unlikely I don't have a Lysander, but I actually, if I remember correctly, I don't think I do have a Lysander, which you normally would expect at this point. But I'm going to go ahead and bench another Evoltal EX and try to get that guy powered up as well. And do find a Dark Energy.
Hitting all of the Max Elixirs, which is... you run 9 Darkness Energy, I believe.
Yeah, I was a little unlucky during the earlier rounds. I missed a decent amount of my... Darkness Energy, of my Max Elixirs, excuse me, and so it paid off, I guess, in cut. I was able to hit a decent amount in cut.
So now he's got 3 loaded Evoltal EXs, which is a lot for me to deal with, especially when I'm down 2 prizes already, and there's a VS Seeker, which he can use to pull my Mewtwo.
Yeah, so I did end up having the Lysander here. So I play that, bring up the Mewtwo, just want to go ahead and get some damage off on it, like we were talking about earlier. I'm okay at this point with my Evoltal EX going down to an attack from your Mewtwo, because I have 2 more totally ready to go. So I do hit for 110, or 90, because you didn't have an energy attached. 90 damage on your Mewtwo. You get another Psychic Energy down, And with the damage I already have on me, that should be enough for you to take a knockout. But if you do take a knockout here, you do just get return KO'd with one of my Evil Talls.
Yep.
So playing the back and forth game, I'm always double checking, double counting as much as I can to make sure.
You do have to have a decent amount of energies, which makes a return KO feasible.
Yes, it's very easy for you. So it's just back and forth at this point in the game. Like, who's going to miss a beat first at this point is basically what it can come down to. You end up needing more pieces than I do because you need to hit things like Spirit Links and Megas, but since you already have 2 Megas out, I guess
it also is easier for me to one-shot.
That's true, yes, since you do hit for more damage with Psychic Infinity compared to Evil Ball. So I Ultra Ball, discard 2 Float Stones. I don't want a Float Stone on my Evil Tall EX. I definitely want to get a Fury Belt on that guy if I can.
And so that's Chip's second Fury Belt, and I didn't know for sure if he played a third one.
Yeah, and looking through my deck right there, I think that's what I was checking for. Since I discarded the 2 Float Stones, I was checking to see if my third Fury Belt was in there, and I think it was at this point that I learned that my third Fury Belt was prized, so I know that if I want to win this game, I'm going to need to get that out of the prizes at some point in this game. So I'm going to play a Trainer's Mail here, grab the Kukui, and Kukui definitely could play a factor.
It actually lets you KO with Y Cyclone, I believe.
Yes, so
exactly enough damage.
Yeah,
which
so
is huge.
By playing Kukui, I can KO with Y Cyclone, save the energy, and have 2 attackers with a decent amount of energy on them. And I think I would Y Cyclone the Darkness energy here as opposed to the DCE.
Makes sense.
Doing this allows me to doing this means that I just have to find a dark energy to attach. A dark energy to attack again, either way, and this lets me conserve the energy.
Yeah,
conserve the DCE.
Clutch Kukui.
So,
and I'm like, oh, that's very relevant in this matchup.
Yeah, the Kukui made for some good numbers throughout the day. I definitely like the inclusion of it in the deck. And it looks like I am going to Y-Cyclone away that Dark Energy, like I was talking about a minute ago. And let's see if I get that Fury Belt. I did not get it, so I definitely want to find that at some point if I can.
I keep trying to force him to kill this Wobbuffet because I just want time to set up some one-hit chaos with my Megas. So
Yes.
I'm just like, come on, Chip, stop last hitter and just kill this Wobbuffet.
I really don't want to attack into that Wobbuffet. Any damage into the Wobbuffet is likely going to be totally irrelevant.
Yeah.
Of course, I did whiff the Fury Belt off the prizes, and I know that it's in there, so I want to try to get it if I can. So I may end up trying to take that knockout on the Wobbuffet anyways, but I may not even need the Fury Belt at this point in order to win the game if I can get a Lysander on this next turn, potentially. So on the next turn, all I need is a Dark Energy plus a Lysander, and I'll be able to... Oh no, without the Fury Belt, I actually would need a DCE, or a Dark Energy plus a Max Elixir in order to knock out the Shaman EX. But you're going to go ahead and bench another Mewtwo, and attach an energy, and an N comes out. So putting me down to 2 cards, you get 4 cards here. We'll see what happens. We both still have a decent amount of resources left, though.
I believe you have one VS Seeker. I'm pretty sure it's 1 VS, and...
I don't remember, to be honest. I think I still have a few mails and stuff left, though, and
Play-
I still have I still have Ultra Balls for Shaman, but of course with the
Right.
Wobbuffet active, I can't use it. I do have a bench space this game, though, and no Garbodor this time, so I definitely still could use Shaman at some point in this game, which could come into play. And we're going to cut up here and see what we both get. Just 2 cards for me and 4 cards for Grant. Looks like I drew Trebuch Floatstone, so
Not very helpful there.
2 pretty bad cards. But that's one of the things with Evil Tall is you just really need energy. And I do get a VS Seeker there.
Yeah.
So
I think that is your 3rd Seeker. Because I
It's
remember
third
by
or
the end, you have 1 Seeker.
Yes.
So I think that's probably the 3rd Seeker.
I actually don't know. It may only be my 2nd. I haven't... Because I've played a couple of
You've
just
played,
straight Lysanders from my hand, though. And I played the Kukui from my hand already, so I don't think I've played that many VS Seekers.
Yeah, I saw 2.
I think
I saw 2 in
There
there.
are 2 in there, okay. So I think I do just go for the Sycamore here.
that was definitely a good draw because now you can get Dark Energy most likely.
I don't want to bench the Trubbish because I do want to save that spot for a potential Shaman at the end of the game.
And Trubbish would put me on even prizes.
Exactly. And you do have...
Ooh.
Oh, no, you have 3 prizes left, right? I think I said 4 a
Is that
second
no
ago.
Dark Energy?
Yeah, I did whiff the Dark. I think I have the DCE. So what I end up deciding to do here... if I remember correctly, I think I ended up kicking myself for some of the sequencing here. I got a little bit of the sequencing incorrect. I do decide to play the Trainer's Mail. I do have a Max Elixir in my hand. I don't think I don't have that many Dark Energies left. I've got 3 on the field, and I've got a couple in the discard already. So, but I still definitely can hit them. I do take a Sycamore just to get it out of my deck, and I'm going to play the Elixir here. So what my thought process here is I think I want to attach a DCE to the active Eviltall, retreat it into the benched one. Or no, if I hit a Max Elixir here, I can knock out your Wobbuffet, I think, with an Evil Ball. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100.
Max Elixir of the series.
Oh no, I wouldn't even be able to kill it. So I think this is the sequencing I was talking about. I wish I had retreated. I end up retreating this Eviltall on the active. I wish I had played the Max Elixir on the other end of this retreat, because then I would put it on the Eviltall, but ended up not mattering since I did whiff it anyway.
And there goes a DCE, and you still have a few DCEs left. That's the first in the discard, I believe, 1 on the board, and you still have 2 more left.
Yeah.
And of course, at this point, I don't know where those are.
Yeah. So I definitely haven't gotten rid of them this game compared to the first game, since in the first game I committed them to Fright Nights early on. Fright Night actually hasn't even been a factor at all in this game.
Used Fright Night this
Funny
game
enough.
Because I started Wob and had a... Yeah.
So, Y Cycloned the Wobbuffet, hit it for just... 90 damage. You're going to have to find a Floatstone in order to retreat this guy, and I also get to keep energies on 2 attackers, potentially. So I think this turn, you may want to try to get rid of the Eviltall on the bench if you can, since it does have the Fury Belt.
And another energy, so it's doing...
And, it's doing extra damage.
Yeah, base 30 more at this point.
So you grab an N off of this Trainer's Mail. Not going to play it yet. I don't remember if you end up playing it or not, but you would need to have a DCE plus a Mega Turbo in order to take a knockout onto the Eviltall.
Yeah, I would need a lot of stuff, so I would need a ridiculous combo to...
In order, and plus the Lysander plus Floatstone, so a lot more cards, and I don't think you have enough in your hand to work with that. So...
Do you have both parallels in hand?
Yeah, I do. Once again, have both parallels in the same hand that I can't play. So you're going to play your Trainer's Mail here. Maybe looking for that Mega Turbo or Lysander, one piece of the puzzle, and...
I think I'm just trying to...
thin your deck out a little bit more.
Find important cards before I play my end.
Okay, yeah.
If I end up doing that.
I don't remember what you end up doing this turn, but we'll definitely find out in just a second. We see a Floatstone, and you are going to play the N.
Alright.
So, both shuffling in. I'm going to get just 2 cards. Grant is going to get 3. He won't be able to Lysander or anything this turn. He can damage the active Mewtwo, or the active Eviltall if he wants to, but he also may just be okay with me taking a knockout on this Wobbuffet.
Yeah, if I attack the active Eviltall, that's just kind of unnecessarily putting your
Mewtwo at risk.
Only remaining attacker to be hit, not necessarily by a knockout, but just unfavorable damage there. So sacking Wobbuffet is fine. There's no reason not to. It's my only one prize Pokemon in the deck. Yeah. So I just try and sacrifice it whenever I have an opportunity to do that.
So off of this end, let's see what we get. See what happens here. We're going to shuffle each other's decks. I remember the feeling at this. This was definitely a very, very tense game.
Yeah, it was super intense.
Grant and I are both good friends, like we've said, but we're both, big time competitors. So it was pretty tense. And Grant goofing off, cutting my deck as many times as he can. Back. Yeah, of course. I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
So I get an Ultra Ball and a Sycamore off of that in, so definitely nice. And I get a Shaman EX.
I drew a pretty good hand myself. And you just go ahead and Sycamore, which is correct, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I don't think you needed to play the Shaman for any reason.
Yeah, I know I can't win the game well, no, if I was able to get a Dark Energy plus a Lysander off of the Shaman, I could have won the game by taking a knockout on your Shaman EX. With the benched Eviltall, I just retreat the active and Lysander it, but I think the likelihood of that happening was pretty low.
Ultra Ball 2, completely useless Fright Nights away.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be using those at any point.
Yeah, those are 2 totally dead cards at this point in the game.
And Shaman, I don't play Garb, and he doesn't have his Garbodor out, so Shaman's live. Well, not right now because of Wob, but it will be live.
Yeah, so I don't want to play that this turn, but I definitely want to have access to it. Go ahead and get it in my hand, thin my deck out, get rid of those Fright Nights, and thin my deck out 1 more card to potentially top deck on the next turn. So, let's see what happens here. This was a tense moment, like I said, so there's a lot of math going on in my head. How easy is it for him to return a knockout? what am I going to need to take a knockout in the following turns?
And he draws the...
I do get that Fury Belt off that prize, which is very nice.
And at this point, I don't know that he has the third Fury Belt, because I don't think I've seen 3
in the previous
at any
game,
point.
yeah.
And I ran 2 the previous day. So 3 is definitely very good in the deck, because like Fury Belt's just a strong card with Eviltal.
Of course.
And drawing that off the prizes is very clutch, and I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
So at this point, I have the opportunity to end him to 1, where he only needs a DCE to win the game. I have to take a knockout on either Eviltal. So I can end him to 1, take a knockout on the active, then he only needs one of his 2 remaining DCEs, or I could Lysander, reduce his next attack by 30 by removing the more loaded Eviltal. Then he needs one of his remaining DCEs, his last belt, and his last Seeker for Kukui, or an Energy and a Lysander on
for
Shaman.
the Shaman, yeah.
So I think he has... I'm not expecting him to have that much. I know he has a Shaman. Neither of my options are great.
Yeah, if you end me here, I still have, the out to, draw the Shaman off of one of those cards. I still have Sycamores in the deck.
I'm doing very math with my hands.
Yeah, there's a lot of math going on here. Multiplying by 3s, and then in return multiplying by 2s. So going back and forth. Like I said, guys, very tense moment. We got to see what happens here. Does Grant decide to play the Lysander? Does he decide to play the N? Gonna check the discard to figure out what he wants to do. He is gonna go ahead and via Seeker Lysander the Eviltal and do Psychic Infinity, which does hit for enough to take the knockout. I of course can't promote my Fright Knight Eviltal, even though it has a Floatstone on it. I wouldn't be able to retreat it because of the Fright Knight ability. So my Eviltal comes into the active, and I get a VS Seeker here on the top. Get a Fury Belt, very nice.
Yep.
Off the prizes. I remember your reaction. You were very surprised to see that.
Yeah, it was a very good timing for that.
So I've got Trainer's Mail in my
you
hand.
take
I've
your
got
sweet
VS
time.
Seeker. Yeah, there's a lot of math going on.
Yep.
But basically what this comes down to is I need this turn a DCE and a Lysander to win on the Shaman, or if I get a DCE plus a Professor Kukui, I would be able to hit for perfect math to be able to hit 210 damage to take a knockout on the Mega Mewtwo that Grant has. So I'm going to play the Trainer's Mail just to see if I can look at a few cards, see what's left in the deck. I don't think I want
4 dead cards for this turn.
4 cards I don't need at all. I think I might take one just to thin it out so I don't draw it again, but I also might not take it so I can draw more cards with the Shaman I know I'm going to have to play.
I think having more cards for the Shaman is probably the better option.
But I don't remember what I do. I agree with you. I think it's probably best to just go ahead and fail the Trainer's Mail, which I do. This lets me draw more cards with the Shaman. And so this is where I have to make a really tough decision. I know I have the VS Seeker in my hand, so I can either Lysander up the Shaman and then set up for 3 cards, or I can just wait and maybe grab the Professor Kukui here. And
I think maybe you played the VS Seeker not knowing what you were going to get at the time.
Yeah. I was
like talking a little too much maybe, but I'm sure you were already aware of everything that was going on.
Yeah, I knew that I could play Kukui, or I knew I could play Lysander. I was thinking of, if I play the Lysander, that means I draw one more card off the Shaman, meaning that I have another chance to hit one of the 2 DCEs that I know are in my deck. But if I don't play the Lysander and I set up for just a couple cards, I get to draw 2 more cards additionally on top of that with Kukui. So I think that's what I end up going for.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't have played the VS Seeker. I should have held it, but I was definitely still trying to do the math of which is more probable for me to hit the double colorless energy. Either way, if I Lysander or Kukui this turn, I have to hit that DCE.
And I was just banking on him not having all of that. I think I had to bank on him not having all of that. So at this point, he doesn't hit it off the setup. Max Elixir to thin, and he still has a Kukui. So he needs
off of 2 cards.
2 cards, 7-card deck. Needs to hit a DCE to win. And that's all it really comes down to.
Is off this
For
Kukui,
all the marbles.
do I hit it off of this Kukui is basically what it's going to come down to. I was a little upset there because I played the Max Elixir to thin the Dark Energy out, and I saw the DCE on the 2nd card, so if I had played it that turn, I would have just straight away won. But this is what it's going to come down to, guys. Off of this Kukui for 2 cards, will I hit the double colorless energy to allow me to hit for exactly 210 damage? We both know what's happening here, so one card. 2 cards. There comes the DCE.
Nope. I'm done.
And so Grant...
and I was wanted to see if there were still 2 in the deck. So it was a fairly high odds Kukui. But I'm just like scooping up. All right, you got me.
So yeah, definitely.
I wasn't happy at that point, but I mean, it is whatever.
Yeah, Grant and I are good friends. We weren't salty with each other. Grant was just salty in general, just at the situation. It does stink because this is your third second place finish at a cup.
This quarter, yeah.
This quarter, so he wants to go for the max cap he can get of winning 2 cups. So hopefully, you've got a few more cups left. You can definitely make that happen. But
it was a really close series.
It was a very, very fun game of Pokemon. Definitely always enjoy playing games with Grant, of course, in tournaments. So had a good time, and I was able to come away victorious. And rip press 1 for Grant, I suppose. But thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely a very close finals match. So let me know what you think down in the description or in the comments section down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and be sure to check out the playlist that has all of the rest of the games from this tournament in the description. Thank you guys so much again for watching. We're going to get out of here, and until next time, take care.